Hello there, UZMA. Okay, I'm glad you're enjoying the course, and I'm really pleased that you like the technique, using the videos, writing it down, and all the rest of it, and improving by error checking as well. Okay, you're doing really well, and it shows in your essays. So let's just have a quick look at this one. The issue of traditional education systems, because we didn't put an article here, okay, so we need to make it plural, no capital E, okay, is a contentious issue which has grown in importance over the last decade. Genius. Many professionals would argue that there needs to be a change in our traditional schooling, yet several options exist. Okay, I wouldn't have used yet there because it's not really sort of like a contrast, is it? So we could have said professionals would argue that there needs to be a change in our traditional schooling, yet no action has been taken. That would have been a conflict. Okay, that would have been a conflict or a contrast with this first point. But so here we just need to say and there are several options that exist. Okay, this essay will discuss our education system. Mine and yours. I think we had different education systems. Or mine and the examiners in this case is what you're assuming, which I'm pretty certain would be different again. So we need to make it neutral, avoid that pronoun, and say this essay will discuss education systems and how experts or how students or how lecturers and the need, education systems and the need to rethink fundamental principles regarding children's education. Make it neutral. Avoid these pronouns, UZMA. Okay, because there's no relation. It sounds harsh to say this, but there's no relation between you and the examiner, or you and me. We didn't share the same education. That's what I want to say. All right. Okay. So avoid them. I'm not taking any principles for educating children. I don't educate children anymore. Okay. So can you see the conflict? Make it passive and avoid these pronouns, all right? Let's go. Our education system, it's not ours. Let's see. Education systems are predicated, okay? Make sure you've got the right verb there, predicated on the idea of academic ability, or are usually predicated or based on the idea of academic ability. Usually, because I want to hedge that sentence. The purpose of education is to prepare children for their working life. So the most useful subjects for work are at the top, okay? Or are given priority, would be more accurate. This is because if children work hard at school, they will increase their opportunities for going to higher education and eventually obtain well-paid jobs. That's much better than saying getting a good job, okay? Eventually obtain well-paid jobs. For instance, recent studies by UNESCO have shown that in the next 30 years, more people worldwide will be graduating through education than since the beginning of history. Good. Therefore, the system was invented to meet the needs of industrialism. Not the best conclusion. So therefore, considering the increased number of students, changes need to be made to adapt the education to the new world. Okay, and that would have made sense. That would have made much more sense. On the other hand, many educationists think more importance should be given to creativity and problem solving, and these skills should be valued over memorization and rote learning. There are 3 ways in which children's creativity can be nurtured through education. Firstly, by the creative environment. For example, play and free choice of activities, which seem to be key components of the early childhood, one word, setting in relation to creativity. Okay, we're going off the sentence guide, we're going off the map, all right? And it shows because we're going into way too much detail about these 3 ways. We should have just said environment, specific teaching programs, and creative teachers can all play a significant role in fostering creativity in children. For example, blah blah blah, therefore, okay, UZMA, all right, and it would have made 10 times more sense. Okay, and I'd have been able to follow it. The example would have backed you up, and there would have been no conflict. Now we've gone into detail, we've gone into too much detail, and we've really lost a bit of cohesion and coherence with the paragraph. And there's no example proving your point. To conclude, I firmly believe that that education should adopt a new conception of human ecology. Ecology? Don't know if that's right. New concept of human learning. One in which we start to reconstitute our conception of the richness of human capacity. Good sentence. Creativity now is as important as maths and science, and we should treat it with the same status. Okay, not bad, but we didn't I guess we did actually in there, so it's fine. Okay, good work, but remember to follow the sentence guide, okay, and also pay attention to your articles, okay. I'll send you some help regarding the articles just to give you a bit of a push, which you can use in the next essays you write. The 3 pie charts compare the council expenditure in different services, different regions in Northern England in the year 2014. That would have been sufficient. And well done for putting an N on Northern. Well done there. Yorkshire Council and Lancashire, Yorkshire and Lancashire Council represent almost the same pattern of spending with some exception. Yorkshire spent the most on education at around 28%, then on leisure at 20%. Okay. So I think here that a sentence is going to be about education, okay, because the first words, but then you start going on about the other parts. So really we should have said Yorkshire spent the most on education at around 20%, followed by Derbyshire at 25%, and lastly and finally Lancashire, or whatever the order is, okay. So be careful. Let's see, the opposite can be true for Lancashire. The amount of spending was higher in leisure at 30%, followed by education at 23%. Okay, not bad. Okay, that's alright. Both countries distributed approximately similar amounts in other category between 18 and 10%. For Derbyshire, the figure for spending was highest at, okay, for Derbyshire, education spending was highest at 28%, okay, while it was the lowest for social services and 3%. Okay, now one big tip, UZMA. If you'd have talked about education for all 3 sectors, then social services for all 3 sectors, for all 3 regions, sorry, it would have been a lot easier to compare and contrast, okay? The way you've organised it is by the different counties, okay, which doesn't give you much room to compare and contrast, alright? So just bear that in mind, that you can do it sort of like, instead of vertically, like this pie chart, this pie chart, this pie chart, you could have gone across and then definitely showed the examiner that you can compare and you can contrast and you can group, and that would have picked up a lot of points for you. Okay, it is clear that education and leisure make up the largest proportion of council spending for all 3 counties, in counties, not countries, in 2014. By contrast, environment and social services constitute the lowest proportion. Fantastic conclusion, not conclusion, sorry, summary or overall statement. So good work there. All right, but still some work to do. Have a look at the links I sent you. Hopefully we'll be working together again to correct more essays. I think you're improving, and it would be a shame if we didn't continue. Okay, so good work there, UZMA. Let's keep going.